Welcome to CB10 Speaks, where we will discuss the role and activities of Harlem's own Community Board 10. Today, for our first episode, we will take a deep dive into a topic I know all too well, getting involved in your community. I'm your host, Bailey Jeremy, member of CB10's Economic Development, Communications, and Technologies Committee. I want to thank our special guest for today. We have Manhattan's Borough President, Mark Levine. Welcome.
Thank you, Bailey. It's great to be here.
Thank you.
And shout out to the brand new District Manager.
Yes.
Someone who I know and admire greatly because she was a member of Team Levine until 5 minutes ago, Minah Whyte.
Yes, welcome and congratulations again, Minah. How are you?
Thank you so much, Bailey. I'm well. I'm proud to join this new initiative by Community Board 10, joined by my former boss, still technically my boss.
This is
President Mark Levine.
This is a reunion.
Yes, it is.
An unintentional reunion. So we're gonna have a good time tonight. So the first thing that I want us to just explore is explaining the role of a community board and its role in New York's local governance, if you can share.
Absolutely. But first, I have to compliment Community Board 10 because I believe you are the first community board in New York City to have a podcast.
Did you guys hear that?
So kudos to CB10, blazing a trail. What a great way to reach people who might not otherwise be engaged. And I think that's going to be our big theme tonight, how you can get engaged and involved in your community board. And you know, if you stop the average person on 125th Street, they might not know the backstory. So I'll just take a minute to tell people, like, how do these things come to be? It's kind of unique to New York City. This is our hyper-local form of government. But it started a long time ago under one of my predecessors as borough president, Robert Wagner. He later became mayor. But back in 1951, he started an experiment. And it started in Manhattan, let the record show, where he created in 12 different neighborhoods what he called district planning boards. And people who are still around, old timers, might remember that term, planning board. That's what it used to be called. And it went well in Manhattan. So well that when a guy named John Lindsay became mayor in the early 1970s, he decided to create a network of what he called little city halls. And it was modeled on this experiment in Manhattan of these district planning councils. And when the charter was rewritten in 1975, every single neighborhood in New York City got a community planning board. And over the years, it has evolved and grown to be an incredibly important pillar of New York City government, which is got powers defined in the city's charter. That's like the Constitution for New York City. And real important powers in land use, which is a fancy way of saying what you can build where. And in Manhattan, that is always a fight. So if you care about whether you can build a tall building or a short building, or housing, or manufacturing, or retail, whether you can preserve what's been there for a long time or build something new, those are all land use questions. And they go through the community board. Actually, they start at the community board.
They do.
And it's not only about land use. The charter defines an important role in weighing in on the budget.
Okay.
You know, we have a very big budget in New York City. It's, well, $110 billion probably this year. And the charter says the community boards have to weigh in to give feedback on how this community wants that $110 billion spent here in the neighborhood and beyond. And I know we're going to talk about how you join the board, maybe what it's like being on the board, but that's a little backstory of what is an incredibly important arm of local government in New York City.
Thank you for that. I wrote down a few of the things you said because I think we should do trivia. I don't know how we're going to incorporate it, but I think we should definitely do trivia. And I also would be remiss if I didn't mention where we are recording tonight. So we are at the CUNY Graduate School of Public Health and Health Policy, where the Harlem Health Initiative is housed. So I just wanted to mention that.
And you know what, Bailey? We've just
Yes.
been joined by a special guest the Dean, of the CUNY School of Public Health. Dr. Mohandes, how you doing? Great to see you. An unexpected guest.
Well, it's always a pleasure. You are.
All right, I'm going to give
in your CUNY home at the School of Public Health. Our beloved borough president, and I don't know what to say. $110 billion. How much is spent on?
Not enough on CUNY.
Yeah, no, on health.
Not enough on health, not enough on CUNY. In fact, I was at a rally on Monday calling for the reversal of the CUNY budget cuts.
Well,
so you're welcome for that.
We are very proud to have you in your home here at CUNY. The School of Public Health is in your home within the CUNY home.
Thank you, Dean.
And we are delighted that you can participate. You're an advocate for health and education. So you're dear to our heart.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. Wonderful to see you.
And if you don't mind, just wave at the Harlemites before you leave.
Harlemites, we have you in our hearts.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Wow, look at this.
This is super special, right?
Live, unplanned, unscripted, here on 125th Street.
So, as you mentioned, I'm going to say you're a mind reader. You may just be prepared. But we definitely want to explore and take a deep dive in the benefits of individuals getting involved in their community board and joining the boards. So, Minah, do you mind just chiming in a little bit around what your perspective is on the benefits of individuals joining the community boards?
So kind of as the borough president said, So as the borough president said, community boards are really kind of like their micro councils. They kind of act as micro cities. So they represent, so in Manhattan there's 12 community boards. Community Board 10 represents Central Harlem. And truly, and there's 50 members that are all volunteer members that all reside in various parts of the district, going from 110th to 155th Street. And truly, those community board members, as volunteers, as professionals, are acting as the eyes and the ears of the community. They are providing input on land use review procedures. They're providing input on crime and safety, promoting policy and initiatives that will be promoted from your committee, such as the Economic Development Communications Technologies Committee. So truly the community board is this microcosm of community issues where public members, community members can actively engage in their community. There's a full board meeting that occurs for every community board. Community Board 10 has their full board meeting every first Wednesday of the month. So shameless plug for folks who are listening. Attend these meetings, okay, in person and virtually. Due to the open meetings law, we do have that dual access. And so people can air their grievances. If it's, if it's a public safety issue, there's concerns. Folks are, perhaps doing illegal things next to their building. Folks can raise that issue with the community board, and we can bring in our state agency partners, such as NYPD. If there's a sanitation issue, such as trash is not getting picked up, we call in members of the Department of Sanitation to address these issues and address concerns of city pickup, et cetera, et cetera. So it's really important that community members show up to our various meetings, our full board meetings, our committee meetings. We have 13 committees in Community Board 10. And so really just want people to express the needs within the district so that we're all aware of all of the concerns, that we can address them fully and completely, and make sure that agencies are being responsive to them. So as my role of district manager, I also host a district service cabinet meeting that occurs monthly with all the city agencies, and we also bring these issues to this meeting. So it's extremely important. We are almost like your first, the community board is acting as your kind of first initial conversation in first the initial place to really get your concerns heard by not only agencies but also your local elected officials. Your elected officials such as council members, borough presidents, they're smaller offices, and sometimes it's important that the community board also elevates those concerns to not only the city council member, but if it's a state issue as well, we can also elevate those issues and concerns really on a larger scale. So come out to your meetings.
Thank you. And just to add on to that, being a community board member for a few years, the first step was going to the community board meetings, as you mentioned, and it's in the name. It's the community. So we are looking for community input. There's even a space in all of our committee meetings and our general board meetings for community to contribute, even if you're not one of the community board members, or you're applying and you just want to wait until you get that chance. There's opportunity, and now I'm a community board member, but however, prior to that, I went to community board meetings for possibly like 2 years straight, just going to all the meetings, learning what was going on, and that was very beneficial because I really wanted to know what was going on in Harlem. And Harlem is a small place and a big place. So, there's lots going on, and I would say this is one of the best hubs to find out the information and stay in the know. So the next question that I want to cover is, what are the steps that one can take to join the community board? And this is perfect timing, and we'll let you know why. But Mr. Levine, can you please tell us exactly how someone can join?
Sure, and also let me make a pitch. I think a lot of people, when they think about government and politics, they think about the White House and Congress, because that's what's on cable news and that's what you're probably seeing in your social media feeds. And I get that, but most of what impacts our daily lives in the city, what impacts the lives of Harlemites, whether it is parks, transportation, housing, air quality, schools, public safety, those things are driven much more by decisions made down at City Hall than they are made by decisions in Washington. So if you care about those issues, and if you're listening to this podcast, I know you do, then you got to care about local government. And the way you can influence local government is through your community board. And I cannot emphasize this enough. I think we're going to talk about in a minute about the ways these boards actually influence the broader government, but it's real. But you got to be in the arena. And there are 50 board members in every community board. So as Bailey and Minah said, Community Board 10 covers Central Harlem. And that's from 110th Street north of Central Park all the way up to the Harlem River, roughly from, I think, 5th Avenue over to St. Nick.
Yep.
And that's a lot of territory. It's really like 10 different neighborhoods. But again, if you're interested in schools in these areas, parks, transportation, public safety, housing issues, NYCHA issues, then the board is the place to come to. These board members are appointed, and they're appointed ultimately by the borough president, but half of these slots are appointed on the recommendation of the city council member or members. In this case, in Central Harlem, in Community Board 5, most of the board is covered by newly elected council member Yusef Salam. And I think you have a few board appointments made by Diana Ayala, or am I wrong about that?
It's just
okay, 100%. And these board appointments are 2 years, so it's a 2-year term, and it's staggered, so about half the seats come up every year. So there's a lot of opportunities for new people, right? Because half of the board, 25 seats, come up every year. And as I mentioned, half are done at the recommendation of the Councilmember Salam, and half are done at the recommendation of my office. And it turns out that we're in the middle of the application period, and it goes through February 23rd. So if you're listening and you're interested in becoming a board member, and I hope you are, please apply, and you have till February 23rd. It's very easy. You can go to our website. Minah, do you actually know the link? Would it just be marklevine.nyc? I think it would be. We're going to put this in the show notes, as we
Yes.
say in podcasting.
Exactly.
We'll put the link in the notes. We want you to apply. And everyone who applies, you're going to fill out a short application online. It's not hard. And you will be invited in for an interview. Every single person who applies, you'll be invited in for an interview. We have a very cool interview process. We basically run it like a mock community board meeting, so that you're going to get to debate with a group of fellow applicants some issue in the neighborhood. And it's a great exercise. But again, everyone gets called in. I really encourage you to apply. We want a lot of applications in CB10, so please step up.
Yes, so you heard that. Minah, did you want to add anything to that process?
I can't remember if the borough president included the deadline, but to stress again, the applications for all Manhattan community boards are open now. You have until February 22nd at 5 p.m. to apply. As a former employee of the Manhattan Borough President's Office under Borough President Mark Levine, I had the pleasure of reviewing a lot of those applications. I handled 3 boards, communities 8, 9, and 10, and just in regards to the application, just how we just want to know, do you know the district? What issues are you passionate about? And are you solutions based? So you can complain about a community issue, and that's completely valid, and we want to hear those complaints. But if you do plan on joining a community board, we would hope and expect that you are solutions driven, that you want agencies to respond, and that you are thinking of ways, initiatives, and policies that could positively impact the community board that you're hoping to apply and serve on. So I'll just add that as a caveat. So we want solution-based applicants.
No, I'm assuming just from experience that one thing that is prioritized in the selection process is diversity and representation. And I only say that because my fellow community board members, the backgrounds professionally and personally are vast. We have teachers, we have therapists, we have lawyers, we have stay-at-home parents, we have people who commute in cars, we have people who use public transportation. I know that from some of the meetings that I've learned that type of representation is what is sought out when making the decision
Yes.
of who will represent.
We want all sorts of perspectives, and I'm pretty proud of how diverse community boards are in Manhattan, and including in CB10. And I'll tell you, the area that we're always pushing to do a little better on is young people. And it turns out that the minimum age to join a community board in New York City is 16.
Yes.
Right? So if you're a high school student, or you have a high school student in your life, we want you to apply as well. And it's always a little bit harder to get young people, including in their 20s, because young people are busy and they have jobs and young families and all that. But we really want the perspective of youth. Again, 16 is the minimum age. So you can't even vote for Manhattan Borough President, but you can still join your community board here in New York City.
And make sure your voice counts.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I'll also add that we do another plug for the community board, right? We have a youth and education libraries committee. So for young people that are interested in the community board, I just strongly suggest that you join those committee meetings. There's a mandate of only two
Committees?
No, I'm sorry. There can only be 2 appointments to
Under 18 per
under
board,
18
yes.
on a community
Oh.
board.
Yeah, that's in the charter.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's in the New York City Charter.
2 appointments.
But young people's voices are always needed within the school district in Community Board 10. So we really just ask that you join those community meetings as a young person. Even if you don't apply, we would like to still hear your voice.
So we're dressing up the community board. We're making it seem like a very lovely place to be. And it is, but I think that it is valuable for us to talk about some of the challenges of being in the community board. And I think I can take this piece a little bit because my first absence at a general community board meeting was my delivery at home for my 1-year-old now. So
I think that's called an excused absence.
You're right.
My first excused absence, and I think my only one. We make a lot of jokes here at CB10 that my 1-year-old daughter she has really high attendance rate. She's at every community board meeting, and that's something to consider. Right now at the community board, we do offer in-person and virtual. However, we prioritize in person because of a little thing called quorum. When we have voting items in different committees, it's really important that we have quorum, and that is in-person representation of the community boards in order for voting items to take place. And so even though I have my 10-year-old and my 1-year-old, I do make sure that I attend every community board meeting, both the committees and the general board meeting. And so as far as work-life balance, that's one piece that I think is important to make note of. Every committee has a meeting once a month. The general board meeting is once a month. We also have the executive meeting, which is once a month. And so those are the commitments. And sometimes there are things outside of that may take place. For example, we had the technology forum recently. So, we're always looking for community board members to participate. We have an upcoming forum for cannabis this year, and this will be our 3rd annual forum. And so community board members take the time to participate in additional activities that are presented through the community board. So are there additional, challenges or commitments of a community board member that you could possibly think about?
Well, first of all, these are volunteer appointments. Yes. So nobody's getting rich working on a community board. And I'm just amazed at the dedication and the time that these volunteer leaders put in, and so grateful to every one of the 600 Manhattan community board members. And let's be honest, these issues can be emotional and controversial, and sometimes the dialogue and the discourse at community boards can get very heated.
Oh, yeah.
Which is okay, because these are high stakes discussions about whether you're going to build a new building in a building, or whether you're going to renovate a park, or what kind of new school you want, or what the policy on public safety will be. There's going to be more than one perspective, and there should be arguments. Now, sometimes it veers into territory that I think is inappropriate, where people are kind of personally attacking each other, and we've really tried to change the culture on the board where, yes, we should debate the ideas and the policies, but it shouldn't be a place where people feel personally attacked or uncomfortable, and we're working on that. But look, it's a minimum 2-3 nights, maybe 4 nights a month, and the meetings are not short. No. These are not 30-minute meetings, right? Committee meetings are 90 minutes to 2, even sometimes 3 hours. Mm-hmm. And the general meetings are, I'd say, 2 to 3 hours in CB10. I don't know.
2 to 3.
So it is a time commitment. But look, when you're casting a vote on a resolution and in the community board, you are impacting policy in New York City. And so it is, in my opinion, time well spent if you care about the future of your neighborhood, your borough, and your city.
Awesome, thank you. So before we close, I have one really important question around any, significant issue that happened within our community and the impact that Community Board 10 made on the community. Can you share any experience that you know of, Mrs. New District Manager?
I'll take, I'll say that prior to becoming district manager for CUNY Ward 10, I worked for Borough President Mark Levine. Prior to that, I worked for Assemblymember Al Taylor, and briefly before his eventual retirement, Assemblymember Denny Farrell. And so I became very familiar with the northern part of Manhattan Community Board 10's district. And I will say one thing that I will admire, and I think most recently in Community Board 10, I'll talk about the project that was coming up for a land use review, the 145 project. And, there was heavy, objection from the immediate community there, particularly in the area that the office was situated in, with the background being Esplanade Gardens and other smaller developments in the area. But this project was going to put a 28 and a 32-story tower in the area, in the district. It was going to be taller than the existing housing developments in the area, Esplanade Gardens being the tallest within a 5 to 10 block radius, being 27 stories. And also the vehicular and the public transportation structure was not, it was going to be very difficult for this project to go up and it not be a significant impact to congestion in the area, and also the transportation with that area, 145th Street being a very short station. It only allows like 5 carts, but basically this project was going to not only be humongous, but it was also going to not be affordable to those who lived in the area in Community Board 10. With only 220 out of the 800 and change, 900, a little over 900 apartments that would have been affordable. And so the community board really fought and said that we need more affordable housing, we need family sizes to reflect, growing families that are currently existing in the district and would like to apply to this area. And so this was, and I will remember, this was not, I wasn't working for Mark Levine at the time. I believe, you were a city council member, yes. Yep. And Community Board 10 held an emergency meeting on a Saturday right before this this ULIP was going to go before DCP, and that was a Saturday. And over 200 community members, board members as well as the public, showed up on a Saturday with a 1 to 2 day notice and said, we can't have this this project go up and there not be significant changes into how this developer was going to impact the community and what the benefits were going to look like. So in the community board's fight, alongside the city council member and also with Borough President Mark Levine's recommendations, who also took into account, what the community board stated and what the community board really wanted and what this review looks like. A new project was born. And so now we have a 145 for all, which has come before the land use committee a few times. And now that housing project with over 900 units will now, half of those units will be affordable and the other half will be market rate. And so I will say that I felt like that project was a really great display on the power of community boards when we're talking about the uniform land use review procedure. The Uniform Land Use Review, the Uniform Land Use Review Procedure, ULIRP, as it's called, but the land use process and the impact that community boards have in making sure that they're submitting their resolutions and their impact within their 60-day. The borough president then reviews that for the next 30 days, and then the Department of City Planning then reviews that. And so I want to commend the community board on standing strong on their on their feelings about this, and also upholding what the community that was going to be impacted and felt.
that was one of the most impactful,
Very impactful
events that happened in Community Board 10. And before we close out, was there anything you wanted to add, Manhattan Borough President?
Well, I did preside over the latter stage of the 145 approval process. And I can tell you absolutely, the board shaped that. And when the board put very strong conditions down about the income targets for the apartments, about the nature of the apartments, would they be studios or 2 bedrooms or 3 bedrooms, it had an impact on policymakers up and down, including on me. And in the months, or now really 2 years since, the fact that the board has gone back and done more hard work on this has again had influence. So it's a great example of CB10 doing the work and it having an impact on the city council, on me as borough president, on the mayor's side. And I know you're going to continue to do great work on housing and much more.
Absolutely.
And zoning in general with the city of Yes and economic development.
Yes, indeed.
So this actually raises some ideas for our upcoming topics in our future podcasts. I think we touched a lot on environmental racism and a lot of other issues. But thank you so much, Harlemites. This brings us to the end of CB10 Speaks. And I want to just give a special thank you to our guest, Manhattan Borough President Mark Levine, and our new District Manager, Minah Whyte. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having
And
us.
just please, before we close out, tell the community how they can reach you.
Oh, well, I'm easy to find. We have an office right here on 125th Street, just a few blocks away. The address is 431 West 125th Street. We're there every day, Monday to Friday. Come on in. We can help you with housing issues, unemployment insurance, immigration issues, the school enrollment issues, and it's a bilingual, multilingual staff. So come on by. Again, the address is 431 West 125th Street, right off Amsterdam.
Okay, thank you. And District Manager, how can the community find you?
So I'm on day 4 as District Manager for Manhattan Community Board 10. But my email is mwhyte, W-H-Y-T-E, at cb.nyc.gov. And the office, which is also on 125th Street, 215 West 125th Street on the 4th floor. The phone number is 212-749-3105. So looking forward to serving you, so please call us if you need anything.
And if you're interested in serving and representing your community in any of the Manhattan's 12 community boards, you have until 5 p.m. on February 23rd to apply. The applications are available on the Manhattan Borough President's website. And just stay tuned for our upcoming special episode at the first annual Arts and Culture Town Hall meeting in collaboration with the Arts and Culture Committee of Community Boards 9, 10, and 11, and the Harlem Arts Alliance. Good night.
Another question. Can I add something? Oh, I think I messed up on it. Okay. I just wanted to say, in my charge for young people to come out to the community boards, particularly for those who may not get on board because there's a charter mandate of only 2 board members to be under the age of 18. We do ask for the young people that do live or attend school in the district to attend our Youth Education and Libraries Committee, and that happens every 3rd Tuesday at 6:30 p.m. You can attend in person. Our office is 215 West 125th Street on the 4th floor, or you can attend virtually, and all of that is on our website for Manhattan Community Board 10. So please, young people, we need to hear your voices. We need to know what your experience is in schools, and we want to hear from school leadership as well. So
Thank you. Thank you, Minah. Now, good night again.